Something I'm realizing lately is that our experiences that we're having in this world are all shaped by the mindset that we're living in. I know this is obvious, but hear me out for a second. I'm going to just break this down into two mindset, right? We have lack and abundance because everything else kind of falls under that. When you're trained in your eyes to see the world through survival mode, which many of us are living in without even realizing it, and once you become aware, then the quest is to get out of it and to try to live a thriving, abundant life instead of just always trying to get by. You see all opportunities through the eyes of lack. And I hope you guys can hear me. I'm really having a very big problem holding this mic in my hand. So I hope you guys can hear me very well. But when you're seeing the world through the eyes of lack, you think there are no opportunities, you think there are limited opportunities, even if you think they are. You think that you have to develop this crab in a barrel mentality. You always have to be fighting for everything. There is not enough to go around. There's always a lack. There's always something that you have to hoard and keep. And all of those skills are great because they get you to this point. They've gotten you here. They've taught you how to be resourceful. They've taught you how to be creative and make things stretch. They taught you how to manage things well and how to be an efficient person. But the same skills that you use to survive are not going to help you to grow. They're not going to be the skills that are going to help you thrive, right? Because you're going to constantly see things through that lens. Now, when we look at the other side, where we're talking about seeing things through the lens of abundance, you realize that opportunities are always around us, every single where, and everything is an opportunity. And once you look at things that way, you drop the crap in a barrel mentality because you realize there's enough to go around. The other day, I was kind of in one of these zones where I am in a transition period and I'm just feeling excited about the transition and also scared a little bit. And the scared part is coming from lack. It's coming from the fact that I don't know what's next. And that is something that is very challenging to grapple with, especially when in my situation where I was just in a period with so limited resources and I was just flat on my face during that time. And it's not something that I ever want to relive. It's not something that I wish on anybody, not even my worst enemies. I don't have any enemies, but I don't know if people have me as their enemies, but besides the point. But it's one of those things where I have to challenge myself to think about life through the lens of abundance, even though I feel like, okay, I don't know what's next, and that is a scary place to be in. I have to remind myself that there are opportunities every single where. This made me think about this concept that I've heard for my entire life, and I've never really understood it until now fully. Right? They say you can hear something, but there's a time when you understand something, and this is that time. When they say you can either see the glass as half empty or half full, in my head, I'm thinking it's the same thing. But is it? It's not. When you see the glass as half empty, you're looking through the lens of lack. You're thinking, my glass is half empty. I have to protect everything I have here. I have to hoard it. I have to keep it safe. I'm going to put down this half cup of water so that it can last me for a week or a month or until I get other water, which is the responsible thing to do. And so that's why I said survival skills are not bad. So when we talk about not living in survival mode for the rest of our life, it's not shaming those skills because those are very helpful skills. They've helped you to be a responsible person. They've helped you to be able to manage things and to steward your resources well. So the great skills, it's just that sometimes they can limit you because you don't try to expand and take risks because you're so caught up in hoarding and managing and keeping that you're not trying to expand, right? So back to the cup example. I was saying that when you're seeing it through a half empty, you're seeing it through limited resources. I'm going to have to keep this because I don't know when I'm going to get more water. Not a bad thing, but the flip side of that is seeing through abundance, which is the glass is half full. Because the glass is half full, I have half cup of water that I can use to water my plants, to water my fruits, to water my crops so that they can grow. And so this half cup of water that is half full is producing 10x the amount of value because I'm using that resource to create multiple other resources for myself. And so when we look at things in that way, it's basically like saying no risk, no reward. You're not going to be irresponsible. You're not going to be impulsive. But at the same time, you're going to calculate the risk and see what is something that I can do with this half cup of water that can produce way more resources so that I can even buy a bottle of water and not just have half cup anymore. So the way that you see things are going to change based on the lens that you're looking at it through. And this is not something that you're going to arrive at overnight because if you have been living in this mindset for your entire life, it's just not going to change automatically. I heard this new song by Jubet called Hard Truths. And guys, I have been listening to that song so often because everything in it is just so facts and it's so emotional and it's just like real stuff. And one of the things he said in there was, wait, I lost my train of thought. um, wait. Guys, I literally just went to go listen to the song to remember what I was gonna say. I don't know what kind of brain fog is it. This is. I know it's exhaustion, but he said the process. Wait, oh my gosh, what is this? Yes, he said breaking a habit is easy until you start the process. I cannot believe I had to listen to that song again too. Oh my gosh, guys. Yeah, I need some rest. But yeah, if this is how you've been living your life for your entire life, it's not going to be something that you're just going to be able to snap out of like that. So you have to be patient with yourself. And as he said, breaking a habit is easy until you start the process. It's easy for me to tell you, just stop think like that. But the truth is, I know that's not how it works because I have things from myself that I am dealing with, and it's not something that I can change overnight. And I never change my mindset overnight. This mindset is constantly being modified because I have been living my entire life in that mindset. And so, even though I'm further along on my journey because I've actively been thinking this way or starting to change my mindset for a while now, it's better than I started, but there are many days, just like when I spoke about, I was just feeling excited and scared. There are days when it just comes in intervals, and I have to be able to manage it. And I've said this in many videos. The win is really being able to recover quicker, right? Back before I was further along in this process of just changing my mindset, it would have taken me a lot longer to be able to adjust my thinking, to be able to bring myself back to me than it takes now. So even though I have these episodes where I'm thinking like, this is scary and I don't know what's going to happen, and a part of me wants to cling on to the safety, but the safety isn't really safe because it's driving me to a place of exhaustion. Literally, I am making a video talking about something. I lost my trail of thought in the middle of me saying it. I went, paused the video, listened to the song, come back, forgot again. I had to go listen. Like, this is not okay. It's really not. For a young girl, 27-year-old at that, this is crazy. But it's just being patient with yourself and understand that it's going to take time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that you're going to stumble into. It's something that you're going to have to put the work in and be willing to wait for the results. It's like investing in you. And investing works the same way in anything that you're investing in. It's a compound interest that goes. the energy that you put into yourself, the patience that you put in yourself, all of that compounded over time gets you to the result where you recover quicker, where you, yes, you go down, but you get back up in a more efficient, quicker way than you would have done a year or two ago, right? And so this is not me saying being impulsive. I want to repeat this so many times because I want you to get it. It's not being impulsive, but it's understanding that there are opportunities everywhere. And if you open your mind to the possibility, you will start to see them, right? And you will find creative ways to even create them because that is what abundance helps you to do. It helps you to ask, what are my options? It helps you to ask, how can I make that possible? It helps you to ask the questions that are more open than closed off. It's abundance brings you question, and survival gives you sentences, right? When you're living in survival mode, you will say something like, I cannot do that, or this cannot be done. Well, abundance is thinking is like, how can I do that? What are my options? What can I create? And when you start doing these in small things, you realize the impact when the abundance task increases. That's the time when you start to see the payback. That's when you start to see like, man, I may think me thinking this cannot be done is a small thing, but when I start to think, how can I make this happen? And I see the results of what made it happen, it changes the way that you just look at things in its entirety. And just the thought that the way I think is shaping the way that I experience my life is enough to make me want to think in possibilities and abundance because what can my life be like if I get to experience my wildest dreams? That is an abundant thought, right? Because if I am open to seeing what my life could be like, I'm more willing to take actions to create that life and be more open to inviting that life into my existence and experiencing it, right? And sometimes we just don't have any reference for things. That's why we think they're not possible, but anything is possible. Like, once you start adopting that mindset and start applying yourself, I'm pretty sure you're going to feel confident in making that statement too. I have seen so many things happen in my life that I just don't know how, but it has just happened and it has blown my mind. And I believe there is so much more that I am going to experience in way more vaster capacities than I can ever imagine. And I'm so open for it and I'm so here for it. And I want you to be able to experience those things for yourself as well. All right. So if you're in this space right now, we are kind of navigating it and you're in the mindset mode and you want to transition into that abundance mindset, maybe your first step is to just write down where you're at and figure out if this is something that you can do by yourself or if you want somebody to walk alongside you. First of all, identify that. If you decide you want to do it on yourself, I wish you the best. And I also hope you stick around and watch my other videos because there's something on my channel that can help you on this journey. All right. But if you decide that you want to do it with somebody else, book a session with me and let's talk. Let me help you create a frame of reference for yourself so that you can have the first step to getting into that abundant life, right? So I'm going to be dropping these sessions soon. If that's something that you're interested in, please comment waitlist below and I'll have that sent over to you. And I'm also working on having a 1 hour event coming up in a couple of weeks where we can come together and just have a space where we can support each other and create that community around transitioning from that scarcity mindset to that abundance and creating a plan or option for yourself. I'm gonna have more details coming about this event in the next couple of weeks. I'm thinking about this 18th of July. That's probably a Saturday. I'm gonna have to double check. But that's gonna be the date. I'm gonna go. We're gonna have a 1 hour event. So if that's something that you guys are gonna be interested in, I will have that. More details to come. I just wanted to put it out there, but more details to come. I'll have the link ready. I'll have everything ready and get the information how to you on where you can access those, both at the session and the 1 hour event. All right. So that's all I have for this video today. Thank you so much for being here with me, and thank you so much for taking time out of your Friday evening. I know the weekend is time for you to decompose and you want to get to it, so I'm gonna let you get to it. But thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope it was very impactful to you. If it was, give it a like so that it can reach more people, and also share this with anybody who is in your circle and network of people that you interact with on a daily basis who you know could benefit from this content as well. All right, please consider subscribing if you have not yet done so, and follow me on all social media platforms at Khrista-Lee Amor. That's Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I'll see you in my next video tomorrow. Let's go make some mistakes. Bye.